Welcome to Session 4, everybody. Before we go into the Session 4 content module here, I'm going to go over here and grab the session checklist. We want Session 4. And I made the Session 1 checklist pop out for you guys. That means you'd click on it and it would become a separate window. But the Session 2 and 3, I forgot to click on something that would make that happen. So I've gone ahead and clicked on that now on Session 2 and 3, and I've definitely done it for Session 4 as well. So Session 4 checklist will pop out. It will be a separate window, which may be helpful to you guys as you work through modules. So we do have this checklist now. I'm gonna, that you can again pop out, and I have that hidden now, but we can come back to it and refer to it as we move through the module. All right, so now we can go to the content module and have a look. And here we see the Session 4 module. I'll go ahead and click on the first item, which is what you're actually on. So here we see the Session 4 checklist. Here's the one that I used to do my checklists, as you guys probably know, on wiki pages. So here's that version of it if you want that. It's the exact same thing as this checklist. And here is the course plan. Before we go into the checklist, why don't I go glance at that course plan and show you, just big picture, one of the changes I made for this module. We are in Session 4, and as I looked through all of the items that you have to do this session, I thought, let's go ahead and remove that discussion. I looked at the discussion, and I kind of thought about having you guys do the Session 3 discussion, the Prinsky discussion, but I still feel like there's a lot going on in this module, and there's even something that's not here, but it's assigned. It's sort of something I call your attention to. It's on your on the Wiki Foundation assignment. You had set up a page called Tech Explorations, and we'll talk about it in the module in a little more depth. But that's something that I call your attention to in the Session 4 module, and I thought, rather than just sort of call their attention to it and ask them to start working on it, why don't we remove this Session 4 discussion, and I will tell you guys more firmly, please start working on your tech explorations. All right, we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so let's check out this Session 4 checklist now. All right, so you've got your welcome items, and I'm going to go ahead and click things off as I talk about them. We're going to be talking about movie making, fair use, and media literacy a little bit in this session in preparation for making a movie in Session 5. So Session 4 is just about getting ready for Session 5 movie making. You do not have to make a movie in this session. So that gets a little confusing for folks, because you do see digital movie instructions here, but I just want you to glance at them and start thinking about your idea. If you're finished with everything and you want to work ahead, go for it. You can do that. So I'm going to click that off, check that off. Just check out those instructions. Maybe think about what kind of movie you want to make. If you've made one before, I suggest you challenge yourself and move beyond the basic movie. But if you've never made a digital movie before, maybe the basic movie is the one for you. And if you don't see an option in there, but you have an idea for a movie that you want to make, just let me know, and I think that we can work with you. I want you guys to grow your skills in this area, and so if you're a novice, start easy. If you're experienced, then push yourself beyond and try to think of something that would be fun, maybe useful, and definitely be pushing your skills to the next level. So we're going to learn a little bit. There's just some material that I want you to look at, some videos related to fair use. The whole idea here is that because we now have the internet in schools, whether that's through BYOT or that's through mobile laptops or taking your students to the computer lab, in some form or fashion, your students you may be asking them to create artifacts that use objects from the internet, use photographs, or maybe some music, like maybe what you're going to do in your upcoming movie. And the question is, how are we allowed to use these things? Are we allowed to use a single photograph from a website? Are we allowed to use a piece of that awesome Britney Spears song that we love so much? What is the rule about that? So fair use is an idea. So you have copyright, and copyright would suggest, like Britney Spears' music, it's all copyrighted, and we're not supposed to use any of it according to copyright. But fair use is sort of laid on top of that and it says that we are allowed to use a little bit of copyrighted material. And we just have to ask 4 questions, look at 4 areas of how we're using something, and we can make the argument probably in many cases that our use is fair, that we're not profiting from this use of this media. So that's what this is about. I want you to check out the different videos. There's an article called Copying Rights and Wrongs, and unfortunately the article seems kind of old-fashioned, and it is an oldish article. I mean, it's probably been on the web for 12 years, but the rules have not really been updated. So the article is actually quite up to date. Okay, so you're going to read that article called Copying Rights and Copying Wrongs. You're going to watch a few videos, and then you're going to take a quiz about movie making and fair use. So yeah, you'll start here, and you'll move on to that quiz, and then I urge you to check out those digital movie instructions. All right, teacher welcome video. This is a follow-up to the assignment that you did earlier in the semester, where you had created that. You looked at that traditional teacher letter, and then you created sort of an outline for your own teacher letter that you're going to deliver online in some form or fashion. You can show your face on this teacher welcome video, or you can use some other kind of medium like what I'm doing right now. I'm hiding my face. You can't see me, and I don't even think I've told you my name. But so you don't have to reveal a whole lot about yourself, and I don't want you guys giving your real phone numbers, your addresses. You don't have to give your real name. Just shroud yourself in mystery on the internet, if to whatever extent you feel is appropriate. I did have one student back in spring who gave like all of her personal contact information through this video, and you don't want to do that. You don't need to do that. Quite honestly, like in an online class, if you were doing this very assignment, you were using a public place like YouTube, you could, speak about, give your welcome message without giving all your contact information. Your contact information can be in that lockdown learning management system, like our Coursed-In environment. Also in YouTube and all other media tools that are on the web, you can often make things sort of halfway private or fully private. So on YouTube, there's a feature called Unlisted. If you make your video unlisted, anybody can see it if they have the link, but it does not appear in internet searches. And that right there cuts out a lot of people finding it, because the YouTube, I mean, there may be some random 1 or 2 people that go and see it, but I have a lot of unlisted videos going back 5 years, and they literally do not get viewed. They have like 3 views on them because I sent them to my 3 family members, and they're the only people that ever saw them. So the unlisted feature works pretty well for something that's not, you're not totally, I'm assuming that you're not completely fearful of putting anything on the web. Now, if you have concerns about putting things on the web, and some people do, then choose an option like VoiceThread, where you could create a PowerPoint for your teacher welcome video, and then you can upload that to VoiceThread and animate it using audio, and you don't have to give your real name. You can use your pseudonym for the class, and you can have some anonymity and some privacy, even though you're using these public tools. So keep that in mind. That's a little sidebar there. So you're going to make a movie of a video. Really, by video I mean multimedia, something interactive that you can welcome students to your class with. Okay? Most people just do a talking head video where they turn on their webcams and they kind of talk off those bullet points. All right, and submit that to the Teacher Welcome Video Dropbox. The Tech Explorations wiki page, I want you to check out that page on your wiki that you set up for the Wiki Foundations assignment. Now, if you haven't checked your Wiki Foundations feedback, you need to go check that, because it could be you didn't set this page up properly. You need to get this set up properly. Basically, you have to copy and paste from my Tech Explorations page onto yours, and then you'll have it set up. And what this is an opportunity to explore 10 tech-related resources in your area. There's 5 general resources that I've picked for you, and then there's 5 you choose resources. And you just need to give some evidence on the table that you've thought about that resource and how it could be used in your situation. This is due, and so I have this FYI number 2 here. Where is the Dropbox for this assignment? Well, there is none here. It's due at the end of the semester, but you could almost get it done in this module. This is why I canceled that discussion, is because I really want you to take this seriously. Maybe try to get 5 of them done right now, and then maybe do 5 in the next module, and get her done. All right, readings. This course reading this session is the Understanding by Design, Chapter 1. It gives you an overview of the Understanding by Design framework, which is basically a way of thinking about how you plan instruction. And I think it's a really great way. It's not only does it make a lot of sense and have depth to it, but it's also a way that is sort of permeated throughout the state of Georgia. Lots of school districts assume that teachers are familiar with Understanding by Design. It's also referred to as backward design. And the idea is that you just think about what do you want your students to know and be able to do after they've gone through this learning experience I've designed. And so you think about the end, and then you kind of build the instruction that comes before that. And so you're just going to read Chapter 1. This book is actually available online through our eBrary. So if you go to the library webpage, in fact, I'll show you. This is the benefit of having this, right? If you go to Galileo and databases, I believe, and there's more than one way to get here, guys, but I'm going to go this way. Education, education, and then eBrary. And you can even read this in this fashion. This is the way I used to have students do it, but there was always a problem. You want to put in the Galileo password, which I can post on the home page of the course if you don't know what it is. I'm not allowed to say it here. Since I'm off campus, it wants to see it a second time. All right, so you're in eBrary, and then you just type Understanding by Design. And there's actually several pieces. This one's from 2004, this one's from 2005. This is the one you want. Understanding by Design, Expanded 2nd Edition. You just click on it, and you can access the entire book. And it is pretty deep reading for instructional design, for how we design instruction. This is much deeper than a lot of the programs, even though they say they're not a program. This is pretty deep stuff, and it will get you excited about designing instruction. I don't know. I feel like sometimes the way we teach it's so superficial, and it doesn't always make a whole lot of sense. So you have all these different chapters you can click on. Like this is the chapter you guys are reading, Chapter 1, and you just click through it here, and you can read it online if you want. Okay, so back to this module then. Where were we? Okay, so you're going to do that final reading. You're going to submit all of your reading. You're going to answer the questions on your wiki page. You're going to submit all of the readings to the Dropbox. If you've already submitted to the Dropbox, you don't have to do it again because the readings page link will not change. Later in the semester, you're going to have a unit plan modification type of thing. You're going to basically analyze some instruction and make some changes to it. At least talk about some changes you'd make and locate some resources to go with it, such as Promethean flip charts. And so this chapter relates to that. You're like, why are we doing this right now? It's because we're going to be building on this soon in the unit plan modification assignment. So pay attention and enjoy. And I hope that your interest is whetted by the reading and that you go into eBrary and you maybe read a little bit more. And then this week's Voices from the Field is with a real media specialist who talks about her role in the school and how she's a person you can look to for help with technology. And that is true. You should be able to, as a teacher and as a speech-language pathologist, be able to look to that media specialist as someone who supports the work you do. It's not always the case. And some media specialists, just like some teachers and a lot of other people, get into their job and they just try to coast. But the media specialists, think about the name, media. Their role right now is they're supposed to be people who support you in schools. In fact, I will end on a note by looking at the standards that govern what they do. I've opened up the American Association of School Librarians website, and on the ALA and AASL, Assuring Quality in School Librarianship Education Programs, you can check out these standards and you will see evidence that the library media specialist is supposed to support you. So be sure you sort of gently get the help from that specialist to make your classroom environment more powerful for your students. You know, you can collaborate with that media specialist and create interesting instruction in your school. All right, I'm going to leave you guys. I've really rambled today, but I've done the show and tell style. Maybe that helps some of you visual folks to see what it is that you want to do. All right, thanks.